Africa Update asks, what message do you have for the people of Zambia as they mourn the loss of former President Edgar Lungu?
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802. Africa Update on Channel Africa.
Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu has died in a hospital in South Africa. Lungu ruled the country for 7 years following the death of President Michael Sata, who died in office in 2014 and the elections held in 2015. Now, the former president returned back to politics after his retirement when he lost elections in 2021 was being seen as a critical factor in Zambia's political landscape, despite being blocked from contesting again by the courts. Our Zambia correspondent Arthur Davis Sokopo has more.
He has not been well for some time, and at some point he was denied leaving the country by government when he wanted to seek specialized treatment abroad. Governance and human rights activist Brebna Changala recalls.
In fact, he sneaked out of the country because on 2 occasions, if not more, he was blocked from leaving the country for medical attention. He was virtually prisoner without a court order.
But after he left the country for South Africa, Lungu never returned home for about 6 months as he remained in South Africa for treatment till his death Thursday, 5th June 2025. His daughter Tasila at around midday announces the passing of his father and ex-president. His party, the Patriotic Front, gather at the headquarters as they begin their 7 days mourning, presided over by acting president Given Lubinda.
It is true. Edgar Chagwa Lungu is no more. And that mourning will take place here at the Secretariat, and it will take place in all our provincial headquarters, all our district offices, and all our constituency offices. Light fires, congregate, and mourn your beloved leader.
President of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, made a Facebook posting mourning Lungu and acknowledging that the family of Lungu had made known of the demise of the former president to government. After his defeat to leading opposition leader then, Hakainde Hichilema, Lungu retired from active politics. But about 2 years down the line, he returned to save his party, the Patriotic Front, which he claimed was being destabilized by the governing party, the United Party for National Development of Hakainde Hichilema.
Therefore, after a careful and deep reflection and wide consultation, including prayer, following naked efforts by those in power to annihilate the biggest opposition party PF is under today, the PF, using their studios and institutions of governance, I have decided to return to active.
Mr. Changala, the governance activist, recalls.
And in the last 4 years, he has been humiliated publicly by his predecessor. At every turn that the predecessor is given a microphone, he will go for him. But strangely enough, this is a man who never responded. And when his supporters ask him to hit back, he will always say there was no need.
Lungu, who remembered for massive infrastructure across the country, says Brebna Changala.
The humility in this late president was so amazing. But besides that, the 7-year period that he was president, he embarked on massive infrastructure development and unprecedented development which has left a mark as his legacy.
Jackson Slavwe, an opposition leader who worked closely with Lungu in his last days, recounts.
As a person who would give ear to every person, even when the conversation on the table was about him. He was a very humble person. There was a time in a meeting when we suggested that we should be calling each other by our first names or initials, that he was comfortable to be called ECL, but we had to refuse, and we maintained that he should be addressed as His Excellency.
While others praise Lungu, it is on record that some have called him to have run the most corrupt government in Zambia. On the streets, there's some solemn mood, and messages of condolences are coming in from across the world. Zambia has been ruled by 7 presidents, and all the past 6 are now no more. Reporting for Channel Africa in Lusaka, Zambia, I'm Arthur Davis, Scopo.
And to continue on the former Zambia's president's passing, the legacy of Edgar Lungu, we are joined by Chanoda Ngwira, a spokesperson for the Kumamawa Development Coalition and the close ally of the former president. Now, Chanoda, good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you so much, Tracy. It's good to hear. I'm sorry that there's quite noise here because I'm actually at the PF Secretariat where we are hosting the funeral of our former Republican president.
Now, you had a personal relationship with the late president. How was he as a person, and what does his passing mean to the people of Zambia and you as his friend and comrade?
I think I must be very honest that the loss of President Edgar Lungu is not just a loss for Zambia. It's not just a loss for me or members of the Patriotic Front and those of the Tonsi Alliance. It is a loss for Africa because this is a man that was loved beyond the borders of Zambia. This is a man that has left a mark. This is a man that has been mourned by almost all of the great leaders in this